and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public informational nonpartisan service program designed to get acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2022 primary races for Mayor, Salem City Council, Marion County Commissioners, and Polk County Commissioners. These interviews come to you through the producers at Capital Community Media. Collaboration on the questions and moderators are from American Association of University Women, Salem City Club, League of Women Voters in the Marion and Polk counties, and neighborhood associations. All candidates for these races were invited, and all but 2 chose to participate. Candidates did not receive the 7 questions prepared by the League of Women Voters ahead of time. Candidates were invited to prepare a 2-minute opening addressing their background and qualifications for the office, and a 2-minute closing addressing their goals for the office if elected. I am Joyce Zug from the American Association of University Women's Salem branch, and I would like to introduce Mark Wigg, who is running for Marion County Commissioner. Candidate Wigg, I welcome you, and we look forward to your opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Joyce. I've lived in Marion County 40 years. I've planted trees, fought wildfires, planned timber sales, and constructed trails in the county. If any of you have done work on private forest land in the state, you have used the e-notification system. I manage the development of that system. I have managed many of the state's largest transportation projects, including the Newburgh-Dundee bypass, widening I-5 in Salem, and the I-5 Highway 217 Cruiseway interchange. I initiated the Salem River Crossing project and set guidelines for the project to save time and money. I have hired dozens of employees and contractors. I know that management is about building relationships and trust, providing clear and continuous communications, and holding people, companies, and agencies accountable. People know what is expected and that I will help them succeed. When tasks are completed, we celebrate our successes. I left ODOT when I was asked to lie to the public about a project. I left ODOT, and after I left ODOT, the misinformation about the Salem River Crossing project began. The county commissioners have another role in addition to managing. They should also provide vision for the county. I want less conflict and more collaboration. I want to help this county show compassion to our elderly, children, and those less fortunate, to help our businesses thrive, to cooperate with our cities, and to revitalize our small towns with community hubs and enhanced communication centers. When I meet you, please tell me what you want changed and what you love about our town. Thank you.
Thank you for those opening remarks. And now we're ready to plunge into the questions. The first being, what issues are unique to Marion County, and which of these do you see as priorities for the commissioners, and why?
Unique to Marion County, I would say a lot of counties share the risk of wildfire and catastrophic wildfire. It's not unique to Marion County, but we have our unique objectives and threats, that are different from other counties.
Okay, well, you mentioned here, something that we're all concerned about is emergency preparedness. And so what is the county doing to ensure emergency preparedness, and what still needs to be done?
Well, what I would like to see done, and if elected, I would push to have it done, is that all of the small towns in the county would have emergency communication centers, but those would also be solar powered with battery backup. But they could also be Wi-Fi centers for the small towns, where they could have neighborhood hubs, a community hub, where you might have the post office, and then you have maybe Saturday markets, and you have this center for the community so that they know where to go if there's trouble, or if their cell phone dies, they can always plug it in there.
Okay. This is a different subject here. What has been the impact of the removal of school resource officers' presence in the schools? Do you believe that they should be reinstated?
No, I don't think there's a need for them to be reinstated. I think we need school counselors more than school resource officers. I think it was costing $1 million a year. I think we could spend that on school counselors and have better outcomes. I think the resource officers that I've met and worked with were really good people, and they did build relationships with the students, but I think the money is better spent on counseling.
Okay. All right. Marion County faces numerous challenges. Of those challenges, which do you believe are not being addressed or need a different approach?
Well, what I see is the homeless issue is very inadequately addressed, and they should recognize that they do not have the money to provide a house for everybody. And if you don't, then what are you going to do? And that's where my proposal is, that we provide campgrounds, RV parks, similar to what the state parks are like. And we provide campgrounds. Those are very inexpensive to set up. And those should be near the employment centers, so that so many of those people really want a job. They want to work. But if you don't have any place secure to store your belongings when you go to work, your belongings can disappear. And so we need safe, secure campgrounds near the employment centers, and that will help lots of people, hundreds of people. The other interesting thing is our businesses really are desperate for employees. So here's the opportunity. Hey, let's put those together and solve some problems.
Okay, thank you. What is being done to bring broadband to more rural areas in Marion County?
I know that there are federal programs and grants available for that, and I don't know where we are in the process of applying for those grants and whether we're sharing the money and providing money to other cities with those grants. But if I'm elected, I'd find out.
Okay. What is the role of the county in public health decisions?
The county is the lead for health, and that's mental health and also health for many people that don't have insurance, and also for various diseases and that come through the pandemic, for example. They are the ones that are in charge of the response to that. And so I think the county does get quite a few resources on that. But again, they're in charge of the mental health, and maybe a third of the people that are out on the street and homeless have severe mental health issues. And the county, again, is inadequately addressing that need.
Okay. What is the process for obtaining grants for the mobile crisis intervention program similar to Cahoots in Eugene to assist the sheriff's office? And what governmental entities approve resources for such programs?
Well, there's city, and then, Cahoots is more of a city program rather than a county program. But I think because the county deals with mental health and it may have some resources, there would be a chance that they can cooperate and do one jointly with the city. And I think that would be helpful. But what I see is, instead of setting up an independent agency, put it underneath the sheriff and the police chief and have a separate division where you have, instead of police officers, you have peace officers. And so when you have, my understanding of talking to police officers and sheriffs is that about 30% of their time is devoted to dealing with the homeless. So you don't always need a police officer with a gun to show up. You can use those other resources. That frees up 30% of the officers' time. If we have safe campgrounds, if we have mental health help, and then we have peace officers that go out and actually help the people, and that's their job, is to help the people.
Okay, we have time for one last question, and that is, describe the areas in which Marion and Polk counties work together.
Well, one of the big ones is on transportation, and getting transportation right between the two counties, making sure there's good flow of freight and visitors and residential and commuters. And there are ways to do that. Again, I was in charge of many of the largest transportation projects in the state, and the Salem River crossing was one. I didn't think it went in the right direction, and I think there are ways to solve the problem at much less cost.
Okay, candidate Mark Wigg, you are invited now to share your 2-minute closing comments about your goals for this office if elected.
Thank you. My retirement is filled with kayaking, foraging, volunteering, giving flowers, fruits, and vegetables to my friends. I have fun. I am thankful for my good fortune. So when I attended the recent State of the County luncheon, I was hoping to hear how the county is heading in the right direction. Instead, this is what I heard. They said we have a housing affordability crisis that is contributing to the homeless crisis. But then they said they wanted to establish a training wage below the minimum wage for new employees. Won't that make housing even more unaffordable? The commissioners want to lower building standards. The county just lost hundreds of homes to wildfire. If those homes were constructed and maintained to the higher fire safety standards, 80 to 90% of those homes may have survived. Notice the ones that did survive. Lowering building standards won't necessarily reduce housing costs, but it will allow homes to be constructed that are less safe and more expensive to maintain. The commissioners repeatedly complained about the homeless and blamed the homeless for being homeless. They do not acknowledge that the county lacks the shelters and treatment facilities to meet the needs. They want to continue the failed and fatal policy of chasing campers from place to place. They haven't made the connection between our businesses desperately seeking employees and our homeless seeking employment. Providing safe sanitary campgrounds near the employment centers will help address both problems. What I have found as a volunteer, planting trees, building trails, gardening, and aiding the homeless, is that service is fun. You see smiles on the faces of volunteers. You see hope. My campaign theme is service is fun. I plan on having fun on this campaign. Join me.
Thank you, Candidate Wigg, for our interview today and for sharing your thoughts with us. Thanks to Capital Community Media for their extensive technology and producer skills used to create this program. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties for the design and preparation of the program, and to AAUW and Salem City Club for help with question development and for providing moderators. And thanks to you, the public, for watching in order to become a more informed voter. For more local, state, and national voter information on candidates and ballot issues, visit vote411.org. You have until April 26th to register, to vote, or make changes. Ballots go out April 27th, and according to a new law, will be accepted if postmarked before or on May 17th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.